Hello, this is Simon. Thank you for joining me again today. I'm riding my Triumph Bonneville T140 and I'm in Scotland. Just taking a few days off and travelling around, enjoying the beautiful roads in Scotland and the beautiful weather. Been very fortunate with the weather for the last few days. And what I'm reflecting on today is the beauty of the routine of being on the road. I love touring. I love being in a different bed every night. I love getting up early, wiping the morning dew off my saddle, checking tyre pressures, checking my oil and fuel level, and then pulling on my jacket, my helmet and my gloves and firing up the engine and setting off on my bike. And one thing which I find particularly beautiful about being on the road is travelling light. The reduction in baggage that we haul around with us in life. We all have too much stuff, let's face it. We all carry too much baggage in life, both physical and emotional. One thing that I find is if you're on the road and you have to pack up your stuff every morning, then you soon become aware of having too much stuff if you've brought too much with you. And it prompts you to really ask yourself whether you need this stuff. You know, what do you need in order to be happy? And travelling by motorcycle forces you to travel light. You have to live off the contents of your saddlebags. And when you do that for an extended period of time, which I do quite frequently for weeks and weeks at a time, then you realise that you really don't need much to be happy. You can throw away a lot of the heavy things in life. And as you spend even longer in the saddle, I guess this kind of becomes a metaphor for life in general. Life on the road helps you throw away those heavy burdens that are weighing you down. And in particular, I find it helps me to let go of the burden of expectations about the future. When you're on the road, the future is always uncertain. You never know what will be around the next corner. Travel, by its very nature, involves constant change. And this means that you simply cannot cling to the present. You can't cling to things. You can't cling to the present. You can't cling to the past. And no matter how beautiful the place is that you find yourself in and how charming the company that you're in, if you are going to continue with your journey, then you must leave them behind. You can't predict the future. You don't know what's coming next. Your next destination may be even more beautiful than where you are now. The next people you meet may be even more engaging and charming than the people that you're with now. You simply don't know, and you have to go with the flow. I remember reading a few years ago now some advice from the Buddha on letting go, and he identified 4 different ways of letting go that I found to be very relevant to life on the road. His first piece of advice was to throw it away. You can't cling to something and then throw it away. You have to be prepared to throw everything away, really. Throw away what you don't need. And I find when I'm travelling, I'm constantly reviewing and revising my kit. And I'm tempted to refine it to the absolute minimum that I need. The freedom of not being burdened down by too much luggage cannot be overstated when you're travelling on a motorcycle. But you also have to throw away the past and I guess also the future. You have to let go of where you've been and let go of where you're going to fully enjoy where you currently are. The second piece of advice from the Buddha was to be content, to be happy with where you are now and with what you have now. An issue I frequently see among people, particularly when I've been guiding tours, is that they fail to enjoy the present moment. They fail to enjoy where they are right now because they somehow want it to be different. There's always something they feel needs to be changed in order for them to be able to truly enjoy the trip. They say things like, I wish I'd come on this trip on my other bike, or they might say, I wish I brought my other tent with me. I wish my wife was here with me now to see this. Well, I certainly feel that these people are failing to enjoy the moment simply because they're wanting it to be different. So just accept the way it is. Another dimension of this problem, if you can call it that, highlighted by the Buddha in his third piece of advice, and that is to expect nothing in return for what you put into life. And this is pretty deep stuff, I find, but extremely powerful advice. Expectations can so often lead to disappointment. The alternative is to simply take what comes to you. Take things as they come. Accept things as they are. We live in a world in which social media creates unusually unrealistic expectations about almost all aspects of life, and we find people around us, friends, relatives, painting this totally unrealistic picture of their lives. It's very easy to get pulled into thinking that your life should be like that without stepping back and just realising how unrealistic and how false that actually is. And the fourth piece of advice from the Buddha is about not clinging to things. They say that a rolling stone gathers no moss. This should certainly be true for someone on a motorcycle tour. Enjoy the great moments as they happen, but don't worry that they won't last. You don't need to cling to the happy moments. You can, of course, savour them and remember them and reflect on them during, should we call them, less happy times, but clinging to them simply brings unhappiness. I think one of the biggest disadvantages of motorcycle touring is that you were constantly on the move with a feeling of passing by the world. And I have to confess that for many years I struggled with that feeling myself. I felt that I wanted to stop and spend time in every town or village I passed through. I wanted to stop and photograph every beautiful viewpoint. And I felt that if I didn't do so, I was somehow missing out on the full experience of the journey. As I've travelled more and more, and I've come to realise that it's simply impossible to take in everything. So rather than worrying about what you're missing, you should just fully concentrate on what you are actually experiencing. So, just a few thoughts for today on life on the road and travelling light. Tell me what you think. Do you agree with what I say? Do you disagree? Please, if you have thoughts on the subject, share them in the comments box below. I'd love to hear what you think about this subject. Thank you for riding along with me, and hopefully I'll see you on the next ride.